We are kicking things off with major headlines as the Sex Work Autonomous Committee launches a massive strike action targeting the Canadian Grand Prix weekend. The group is putting serious pressure on club owners for better labor rights, and they are calling for action on May 23rd, right before the race and the sprint event. We dive into exactly why this strike is happening, what the financial impact is on Montreal clubs, and how this movement is challenging the current worker definitions. Of Nurburgring. She shares what the drivers are feeling about the massive fan turnout and the logistical concerns surrounding the event. Finally, we rewind to the incredible moments of the season as Max Verstappen reflects on his sensational 2024 Brazilian Grand Prix win. The Dutchman calls that wet weather performance one of the best drives of his career, detailing how the chaos of the rain and the red flag ultimately created the perfect opportunity to clinch his fourth Drivers' Championship. Don't miss the full story on Motorsport.com. A group of exotic dancers has announced plans to strike during the Canadian Grand Prix weekend, aiming to exert pressure on club owners regarding improved labor rights. The Sex Work Autonomous Committee, SWAC, has called for the strike on May 23rd, the eve of the Grand Prix and the day of the sprint race. The committee stated that timing the strike during the Grand Prix is strategic, arguing that it is the most lucrative period for the clubs, allowing dancers to threaten their income when the clubs are at their busiest. SWAC highlighted that despite increased revenue, dancers face new rules, higher bar fees, overbooking, and substandard working conditions. The financial impact of bar fees has been a central point of contention. SWAC cited figures from last year, noting that one Montreal club charged $110 per night across the 5 F1 events, generating approximately $33,000 in revenue from these fees alone, based on an average of 60 dancers per night. SWAC contends that the current worker classification grants excessive power to the bars. They argue that the existing model benefits employers, pointing to an employer-employee power dynamic. Furthermore, the group criticized the lack of concern for workplace safety, stating that employers incentivize overbooking to maximize profits and leave dancers to manage safety concerns independently. Moreover, the dancers argue that while classified as independent contractors, they are constrained by schedules, dress codes, and workplace rules without receiving the protections afforded to employed workers, such as salary or benefits. The timing of the strike is significant given the scale of the event. The 2025 Canadian Grand Prix attracted a record 352,000 attendees, representing one of the largest tourism surges for the city. This large turnout is viewed by the organizers as the maximum leverage available to push for systemic changes in labor rights for the industry. Formula One fans have voiced sharply divided opinions following Carlos Sainz's initial laps at the new Madrid circuit ahead of its debut Grand Prix in September. Driving a 450 bhp Ford Mustang GT, the Williams driver offered the first comprehensive look at the all-new facility. Sainz himself asserted that the 4 km, 22-turn circuit is faster than initially perceived. However, the fan reaction has been highly polarized. On platforms like Reddit, opinions ranged from strong negativity to cautious optimism. Some fans found the circuit visually jarring, with comments describing the banked section as cool in contrast to the rest of the layout being utterly garbage or one of the ugliest layouts they had ever witnessed. Conversely, other commentators expressed excitement for the inaugural race, highlighting the potential interest in the contrast between street spaces and dedicated track elements, noting that the new layout appeared wide and appealing. Some offered alternative perspectives, suggesting that rotating the track layout 90 degrees anti-clockwise would significantly improve its appearance. Meanwhile, Carlos Sainz was officially announced as the brand ambassador for the Madrid circuit in 2025. Speaking on the appointment, the 31-year-old driver emphasized his deep connection to the city, stating, "Madrid is the best city in the world, and the place I miss the most when I'm away." Sainz expressed complete confidence in the project, declaring, "It was an easy decision to become Madrid's ambassador because I truly believe we can build the best circuit in the world. I have complete faith in Madrid, it's unbeatable. And we're going for it." The 2026 Spanish Grand Prix will utilize the Madrid circuit, scheduled for September 11th to 13th, as the second leg of a double-header event alongside the Italian Grand Prix. Former W Series driver and Sky Sports F1 analyst Naomi Skiff has reported overwhelmingly positive sentiment within the GT racing community regarding Max Verstappen's participation in the 24 Hours of Nurburgring. The endurance race saw unprecedented success, selling out for the first time in its history, a surge widely attributed to the four-time Formula One champion's entry. Speaking on the Up to Speed podcast before the race weekend, Skiff highlighted the intense atmosphere of the Nurburgring event. She noted that the fan base for the race is unparalleled, describing the experience as a sensory overload, noting that spectators camp for weeks to secure prime viewing spots, and that the atmosphere includes fans barbecuing, creating distinct smells, even in the rain. Regarding the reaction from fellow GT drivers, Skiff indicated a general positive feeling about Verstappen's involvement. "I've chatted to a few of my friends who are actually also racing, and the general sentiment is that they're all very happy that Max is there, and that he's bringing more attention to GT racing," she stated. However, Skiff also acknowledged logistical concerns among the drivers. She pointed to worries concerning the capacity of the facilities to handle the increased attendance, the implications for infrastructure, and the challenges posed by increased car density on the track, coupled with potentially difficult weather conditions, leading to concerns about potential shunting issues. Max Verstappen has revisited his sensational victory at the 2024 Brazilian Grand Prix, describing the wet weather performance as one of the best drives of his Formula One career. Speaking on a recent YouTube video for F1, the Dutchman detailed how he navigated a challenging start to secure the win. Verstappen explained that a frustrating qualifying session left him on the grid in 17th position, compounded by a penalty that further pushed him back. Despite the disadvantageous starting spot, the heavy rainfall provided ideal conditions for the Red Bull driver. Verstappen characterized the race as super chaotic due to the wet conditions around São Paulo, but emphasized his focus on the championship. He noted that the rain continued to fall, making it difficult to trigger a red flag due to the increasing danger. The subsequent red flag was seen as a crucial opportunity, allowing the team to make headway and ultimately secure the victory. Verstappen concluded that it was definitely one of my best races, I think ever, and especially when it was needed for the championship, highlighting the positive memories. This win contributed to Verstappen clinching his fourth Drivers' Championship in 2024, finishing the season with 437 points, just 63 points ahead of Lando Norris of McLaren.